welcome back to What to Do Wednesdays with Candy Thompson.
And Garrett Gray.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2025.
Wow.
That's crazy. So I do know that there are some of you out there that are going to remember 1999 going into 2000, and everyone thought the world was ending. They thought nobody knew at that time that computers would actually go to 2000. They thought, oh no, computers were all set up to stop at 1999. So everybody thought the entire system was going to melt down.
That is crazy.
It was called Y2K. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. And here we are 25 years later. We made it, you guys. Anybody who thought we weren't making it into 2000, we made it. Yeah. So how do you, tell me your traditions for New Year? Do you do resolutions? So it's also actually New Year's morning. So. Hi, Garrett.
Well, we don't really have a tradition. We just always get the family together. We usually watch the ball drop in New York at 9. And then we try to act like we're going to go to bed early, and then nobody goes to bed till 2 o'clock. It just happens. No, we usually just meet up, spend time with family, play card games. My dad has a pool table, so we'll just kind of hang out there, bring the kids. For New Year's Eve this year, we just invited. It was my dad's also / retirement party.
That's awesome.
So we had a little more people come over and hang out and just ate pizza. We just don't even cook. We did a nacho bar and Papa Murphy's pizza take and bake.
So
you
fun.
know,
Yeah.
Makes it simple, but it's fun. I mean, again, my whole family always drives around being around and with family.
Yes.
So we're always from here, so we're all pretty close, and we just try to get together and spend time together.
So fun.
It's a busy end of the year, because then you got, it goes from Thanksgiving straight into Christmas, straight into New Year's, and you see the family,
yes.
two
Hey,
months every single day, and you're
9 months.
all right, now we can take a break for a month. Love them, but sometimes you need your own space.
No, for sure. And we have literally done New Year's with our kids every year for the last 20 years. This is the first one that the girls had their own thing that they were going to, and we had our own thing that we were going to, so that was kind of fun. And yeah, I'm not really a big resolution. I have a New Year's resolution, and this is what I mean. But I'm more of a planning, a goal-oriented person.
Yes.
So I like to say, okay, this is kind of things I really want to work on for this year. And then these are things I really want to accomplish for this year. And so as a team, we actually, on Monday night's call, we'll be doing our goal planning session. So it's fun to be able to do it. I feel like goals are dreams with a deadline, right? Mm-hmm. Once you write them down, then they're dreams with a deadline.
Oh, yeah. So
working on, I really want to not procrastinate this year. That's a big one of mine. I want to make sure Adam and I are going to make a calendar that we know exactly what has to be done every single month, so that we're on top of it ahead of time. And so, that's the goal.
I've gotten my calendar more because it makes me stay a little bit more prioritize what's going on and how to function my day. But goal resolutions I've never really done. It was again, same thing, goals. What do I want to achieve this year, right? Yeah. I think last year I wanted to try to get my Nevada license, and I got really close.
Yes.
And I could take the test. I finished the college, but now we're into the new year, so I'll be able to get it done this year, which I think I'm going to try to go around end of January, middle of February, something like that. So, but again, goals are pretty much what I would like to do too. I mean, back in high school, they taught us the whole thing, right? If you don't write it down, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
So even in our football lockers, we always had 5x3 index cards, and you'd write down your top 3 goals. Short term, long term, whatever, right? Yeah. And then the military also did that as well. They do it all the time. They teach you to write down your short term, long term, next week goals, what you want to do, and it kind of helps because in the military, you have so much stuff you could do to set yourself apart from everybody else, to get promoted or get the next billet or job, that if you're not planning around how to get there, you're probably just going to be a regular general population person, and your 4 years is going to be rough. Right. But if you have an idea of what you want to do, because there's so many stuff. I mean, you could do college, you could do there's what they call MCIs, and it's kind of like college courses, but the Marine Corps term. It's just education for you to do, like NCO, which is non-commissioned officers, packet of like trying to get that next level of how to be leadership, right? And teaches you things and go to school. So if you're not planning it out, so that's why it's always driven into now to where you got to have it laid out, understand what you got to do, because if you don't have a path of what you're doing, to me personally, what are you doing?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I feel the same way. I mean, there are certain things that have to happen, right? We know things like my girls graduate in May. Like that's a thing that has to happen, and we got to prepare for that, right? Yes. Our foreign exchange student graduates from his program in June, so we'll be going to Norway to celebrate that with him.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's weddings, there's things that you have to be a part of, but then also just scheduling out and being goal oriented. I'm very, very excited to get my Nevada license too. I'm excited about that. And also just, trying to plan out like, monthly things. I mean, we have, having a real estate team. I like to plan out monthly trainings for us and plan those in advance to make sure that we're always growing and getting better. And Adam and I are, we're a big part of the amateur youth basketball program.
That's starting soon too.
That starts this Saturday, and so then our lives get super crazy with that. So no, it's exciting. I have a lot of hope for 2025. There's been like a 17-month run. It's been a very challenging time for Adam and I, and while we've grown so much, and it's 100% God, and he's been with us every single step of the way, so there's never been a question as to whether or not, it's in the path of what the Lord wants us to do. We 100% know that it is, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. And so just making sure to keep your eyes on him and stay that course and continue to grow and be a vessel that he's willing to use,
It's always so crazy how fast the year goes though.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we just sat down last year when we were doing our goal planning meeting before writing down stuff, and then the years passed and you're like, well, did I do any of that, right? But I mean, we took steps in the direction, and it's just and that's about that. If you get down on yourself about not completing your goals, it's not the end. Just keep progressing forward, right? Like, I mean, you're setting yourself expectations, and as long as you just continue moving in that direction, then it's gonna happen, right? Some people, I feel like, also get really down when they don't complete the goals because they set themselves a timeline, but maybe they just gave up on themselves a little bit. But just get back on track, and that's why you're able to change up, move, and do different things. And I mean, what's that? It was like on Despicable Me, that little meme. It's like make the plan, create the plan, make the plan, and then throw the plan out, make a new plan, right?
Yeah. No, it's so true. I mean, and it's in my world, like, it's not my plan anyway. So I can put a plan out there on what I think is supposed to happen, but then I just pray that whatever the Lord's will is what's done. And so I'm not hard on myself if things don't happen, but I always want to, I mean, I take classes full time, in college, and so that's something that I successfully did for the whole fall semester. So that was fun. And Colorado Christian University is a really, really great program. I do the adult studies program on that, and so that was really awesome. And so just continuing on this journey of all these little steps. That's the thing. It's all just Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect.
Okay.
And it's a really, really great book if you haven't read it. But Darren is the publisher of Success Magazine. And Adam and I have been to many, many trainings where we've learned from him. And the Compound Effect book just talks about doing a little bit every single day and how that compounds. Now that's for the good and the bad, right? If you eat a little extra every single day, in several years, that's gonna compound. Same with the opposite of that, right? It's not a good effect. Yes. No, compound effect can be good and bad. It's just doing a little bit every single day, but honestly, it's just consistency. And so that's really it. I am excited this year to start working with this super amazing marketing program and company, and they're really, really awesome. So we'll be promoting a lot of their stuff. They'll actually be helping a lot of stuff to do with the podcast and just
awesome.
real estate in general. So I'm very excited about that. So there's a lot of, I feel like we are on the cusp of a lot of breakthroughs for 2025.
It's a big hope. I feel like a lot of people have a big hope right now because of how the last couple of years have been.
Yes.
That something needs to change, and that's worldwide, right?
Yes.
It's not just one specific point. I think something in the United States needs to shift to create everybody to have a better sense of what the world is doing right now, right? And I mean, it's at a tipping point. I don't think we can go any further than where we're at right now,
Thankfully, we don't have to find out.
Right.
Yes, thank God, right? So, yes, I do think, I know that everybody is hopeful that with a change in the government leadership that will bring new and exciting things and possibilities. And so I'm equally excited about that. And so, we're just going to see what comes of it. But I love doing goal planning. I've done it with my kids since they were little. We do this big goal planning session, and we use the Zig Ziglar goal planning wheel.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome. So it's like, all the different aspects of your life, and so you just plan those out, write them all down, and then you are actually supposed to visit those, maybe every quarter, just to see where, and also just to see where you're at, like how am I doing, and just writing them down a lot of times just puts it in your psyche, and you don't even realize that you start walking it out.
It's again, writing it out, you can say it probably all day, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, but until you write it down, I feel like that actually puts the ball in motion.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, it is. And I also feel like that's one thing with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Divine Properties and just the Berkshire Hathaway family, that us, we are considered forever agents. And I love that because that is a phrase that Berkshire Hathaway coined, because it's the idea of real estate is not to be just transactional. It's not like, hey, we sell you a home and good luck and you knuckles and we're out, right? It's literally part of being a part of your real estate journey for your life. And so I'm very excited about the lifestyle planning guide that we're going to be kicking off, because that is the goal planning for your real estate future. And I love that we have the tools. I mean, it's like a 25-page planning guide
it's a lot.
that we literally walk through with you and help you determine, like, where are you right now? Where do you want to be? Should you rent or should you buy? Should you be buying up? Should you be right sizing? Like, what kind of things should you be doing? And is it, I know that there's part of that planning guide that will say real estate isn't always about location. Right. Sometimes it's about timing.
Oh, man.
And I think that that's really a big deal today going into 2025, because coming from, it's funny, coming out of COVID and having rates be 2% to 3%, that was fun to be in the real estate industry during that time. And I thought, oh, this is great moving forward. But what I didn't think about is how debilitating it was going to be for people to move on in their real estate decisions, because they keep thinking we're going to go back there.
Oh, no way.
I don't ever see us getting back there in our lifetimes. I mean, I know the predictions are that the rates are going to get to be 6% in 2025. I mean, if they get a little bit less than that, that's
now.
great.
I think I was talking to a loan officer yesterday, asking him some VA questions, and he said FHA right now is like a 6.2.
That's awesome.
Right? So, I mean, we're definitely there. I just have my buddy locked in for one that I'm going to have to go down and do some house showings down in Lemoore, and he got a 6.2 too.
That's awesome.
And to me, that is so easy to get them into the 5s at that point.
Yep.
If we're able to work the negotiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in that area now. I really do believe it.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to go down any further. Everybody thinks that, there's going to be this huge crash. My personal opinion, if there's going to be a crash, means that our dollar is going to be worth nothing.
Yeah.
If economic world is to completely plummet in the United States, that means our dollar would be worse than other currencies around the world. Yeah. And that's going to be a bigger issue if that happens than just the small little fluffs of, okay, the home prices are dropping or the interest rates are dropping. One of those need to drop, but if all of those completely fall down and just fall out of the bottom, our dollar is going to be worth a penny. And that's going to be a little bit scarier than anything else. So I don't want that to happen. I'd rather just the little fluctuations happen, which they have right now. Yeah. I mean, if we were to have the same conversation 6 months ago, we were looking at 8% interest rates.
Right.
Now we are at 6.
Yep.
I think that's a solid move.
Also, we're in a recession right now, regardless of what the government is calling it. We all feel it, right? We're feeling it. Inflation is crazy, so crazy. I mean, people can't buy a dozen eggs right now. Like, it's so crazy what's happening. And so that's my thought, is something's got to give there. But this isn't like, when I think about the economy changing, I'm not thinking about like with the recession. I mean, that was people being put in loans that they shouldn't have been in, and 6 million homes foreclosing. That plummeted the market, right? Yeah. So we're not in that place. No. We're not in a place where people don't have jobs. We're not in a place where people can't get employed. There are a lot of jobs out there. People are well employed. It's just that we have to see the economy come down a little bit so that people can start affording things again. Yeah. And I think that's really what's happened, is especially in the last year, I think the inflation got huge. But I mean, your electric bills and your, just all of these grocery bills and all of these things are they've just jumped up. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see those come down, but
that'd be nice.
With no crystal ball, I don't anticipate a crash. No. I just anticipate seeing things kind of right-sized, right?
And that's why it's important to do these planning guides. Yeah. Because with real estate, you need to know everything that's going on in and out of your bank account and in your life, because it's going to make a big change where, maybe you need to manipulate money differently, right? Maybe you need to orchestrate your life of, what am I doing on my weekends? What am I doing on my weekdays? How am I working? How am I making funds? How am I making payments? Right. And so when you're able to sit down and write that all out, you can see it, right? Yes. You might talk about it and you may be understanding, like, in your head how the plans out to you maybe affording a house or refinancing a house. Right. But until you start writing it down and then you start seeing the numbers pile up, you're like, wow, this is either doable or I need to do this to be able to make it a possibility. And if you're not doing that, then I mean, I don't think that you're realistically understanding how long a process is to afford a house or move into a home unless you're doing it, right? I've had to be a bearer of bad news a couple times when somebody comes up, they're like, I just can't live here anymore. I need to move. Yeah. And then I get them out there, I try to get them approved, or I try to see what their finances look like, and I have to break it down to them where I'm like, I need you to work on something because you're not going to afford anything. And that's really rough when you're coming to me with kind of a little bit of a bleeding heart saying that you need something to change in your life. Right. So, okay, let's sit down, let's write some stuff out. Let's see how we can make this work in the next year, this year, right? Yeah, it's not impossible, but something's going to have to change if you want change in your life. You're going to have to change.
That's right. Well, and looking at the tips, that's what I'm looking at on my phone, of the real estate planning guide, it talks about how a forever agent will go through the entire planning process with you. So this is what we are going to be doing in January. If you will look at the comments, we're going to have the link in there for the Zoom link. We have to determine based on the calendar what day. It's probably going to be like the last week of January.
Yeah, I don't have my calendar open right now. My phone is on the not working side.
No problem. Well, and so it says, one thing that's important is knowing, like, if you are paying rent, and rents are not cheap today. So if you're paying rent, like, you're paying 100% interest. So let's look at that. Mortgage. Yeah. Let's look at that and let's see if that is a possibility for you to buy. With interest rates at about 6%, it isn't going to be equivalent to renting, but it might just be a couple $100 extra to be able to buy.
And if you look at it, right, if you're going to pay a couple extra $100, let's say you're going to pay an extra $1,000. Okay, let's just add the insurance in there as well, right? You're going to have to do it, but it's something that you own that's an asset to your name, to where if you're going to go do something else, you can use that asset as a good debt, right? In your repertoire, right? Like it gives you the ability to kind of be flexible. Now, I've had also people, and I mean, I don't know your feelings on this, right? But I heard that a lot of people, like my generation, are preferring to rent because it gives them more flexibility on not having to be secured to something, right? I see the good and I see the bad about it because you can move, you can be whatever. You're kind of, nothing's really holding you down if you want to go to a different state or you want to move away or you want to, whatever in your life is happening, right? It might be something that you want to do is rent.
Right. But you're at the mercy of someone else also.
Right. I mean, you got to deal with the landlords, and maybe they're not the best
Yeah.
That's the truth,
They can sell their house. Or we have clients we're working with right now. They were in a house, renting a house. It sold. They had to move. Mm-hmm. They're renting another house. 6 months into that, the owner decides they want to sell. They just moved again. So they are looking to buy. Their next move will be buying. But it's like, that's the thing too. And then also with the fluctuation of payments. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend her rent was just raised $300 a month. Like, that's crazy that people can do that. So she has to move. Like, she can't do that. But when you buy a house, you're in a fixed rate. And that's the same rate for the next 30 years unless you're able to refinance that loan down lower, and then the payment goes down lower. So there are benefits to that, but that's truly what doing this lifestyle planning guide is going to do. Not only that, like, you could currently own a home. Your kids have all moved out and you want to downsize and you want to see what that looks like. Maybe you're just growing a family and I saw an email or a message on Facebook today that was, somebody, a friend of mine has 3 weddings in her family this next year with her kids, and they need a bigger house because their family's growing. You know, like, I mean, there's just things that, like, everything in life changes. And so that's really our job, is to be able to walk through it with you and say, what are the changes in the next year? What are the changes in the next 5 years? How can we plan for the future? What if you bought a house today that may not be your perfect house? Maybe it's a really great step. You're qualified. You can do it. It's going to create equity in your house. Mm-hmm. And so you buy today, and then in 2 or 3 years, you decide to, cash that out and buy another one. Well, now you could potentially have equity. Then now you're putting a couple $100,000 down on the next house instead of renting. See, that's the difference in just continuing to rent, is that you don't get that equity. But if you buy now and you are paying a payment, you're not locked into it. You always have the option to sell. And so really, that's the fun of the real estate planning guide and what we want to do with you, especially right now. January is a really great time to do that and see what those options are. Our lender that we work with through Prosperity Mortgage, Stephen Wen, he actually will walk you through what you need to do. Yeah. So if you go to him, we recommend you sit down with him or you talk to him over the phone. He will actually tell you, you have to do A, B, and C to qualify. Right. And I love that. It's not like you have to just already be qualified. If you're not qualified, he's going to tell you, instead of working on, E, F, and G, you should be working on A, B, and C, so that you're putting your efforts and your time and your money into the right place. Right. So so we're excited to be able to offer that at the end of January. We will know the exact date, but if you go to our comments, there will be a Zoom link. We'll add it
in our descriptions. We'll have a Zoom link where you guys can register for the Zoom and the lifestyle planning. If you guys want to do also just one-on-ones, feel free to contact us. You can either email us at whattodowednesdays@gmail.com. Also, our Instagrams are posted on every single end of the thing. You guys can direct message us, call us. We're real estate agents. Our information is so easy to find. Everywhere.
Yes. And we're excited to help you look at your future and see what we can do to, help you accomplish the American dream. That's ultimately the goal.
We're here to help. Yep. Right? I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
We're here to answer your questions. I mean, again, I've said it before, right? If you're going to train a dog, I'm going to go find a dog trainer. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to find Joe Smo down the street. If you're going to go buy a house and you're going to get into real estate, I'm going to go find a real estate agent.
That's right.
They're the ones that know what's going on. There you go.
So no, I think that's great. We will, be kind of plugging this as we go for the rest of the month, just as we get closer. It is a 25-page lifestyle planning guide, so right before we will actually be sending that out to everyone. And so we're excited for what the new year brings. Any last minute thoughts on the first day of 2025?
Man, be nice to me.
Yes, and I'm like, Lord, just bless our country, bless our family, bless our team, and just help 2025 be the best year yet. Yeah. Have a great day, guys. We just want to give you a What to Do Wednesday disclaimer. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official stance of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services or Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Divine Properties or any affiliated entities. This podcast does not constitute legal, financial, or real estate advice, and listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified professionals regarding their specific needs. While we strive to provide accurate information, we make no guarantees regarding the completeness or reliability of any information discussed. We are not responsible for any actions taken by listeners based on the content of this podcast. Additionally, topics covered in the podcast are based on the host's experience and opinions and may not apply to all situations. Listeners are reminded that real estate laws and regulations may vary by location and information may become outdated over time. By listening to this podcast, you agree to release the host, guests, and any associated entities from any liability related to the topics discussed.